You all know them, and you all love them. But why? Obviously, you have your reasons that relate to your life, but that could be with anything. Toy Story is special because it was the first 3D animated movie. It was a timestamp, a landmark. It was huge for the film industry, and you know that by living today. But is that it? Is that the only thing that it's notable? There's been a lot of landmark movies, but were they all really good? No. We are going to dive into all 4 of the Toy Stories and find out what is so great about them. Okay, if you said there was going to be a movie about toys and they come to life when humans aren't looking, I would have signed up from the start. Never mind its deep plots and characters. The idea of toys is so comfortable. You already have scenes set up, and there's something about them and their culture that really has a story to tell. Toys are used to create stories, but now the story is the toys, not what they're acting to be. And that's where it's already interesting, and that's why it's called Toy Story. Toys are something so special and magical, and Pixar brought the magic to life. But what's a theme without its characters? The characters are so diverse because the toys in their design are so diverse. Every single toy is unique in its way, and they all have different objectives. Some toys are trying to be cute, some toys are trying to be realistic, others cool. They're all so diverse, and they could all just be one thing. But when creating characters with them, their personality has to work with what the toy they are. Alright, so let's say a piggy bank. It only has so many options that would work with a piggy bank personality-wise. Like, he could be more of like a stereotypical banker. He could be more like care about money. There's so many options, but it's still limited because he's a piggy bank. This clash of unique personalities is why SpongeBob and Squidward are so good. But once the movie establishes the culture, the characters, and the main character's weakness in a discreet way, then comes Buzz, the person that will change everything to our established leader. Now, Buzz is extremely unique because not only does he have a personality, but his personality is very much attached to the fact that he does not know he's a toy in Toy Story. And you'll see that play through how he's truly a good person, and not necessarily that he was before, but that he's truly something special once he realizes what he is. And that it's a great story, but it's the exact weakness to Woody. He has taken Woody's place as a leader, and once Woody's power is taken away from him, he doesn't know what to do. His whole role, as I was saying before, was the leader, and now that's taken away. Instead of finding a new place, he tries to take out the person that took it away from him. Now, in Toy Story, because of Woody's actions, he throws Buzz out of the window, disrupting the dynamic of the toys, making them throw out Woody. They no longer see Woody as a leader of any form. He's changed, he's been broken, and the journey they're about to part to will make everything back to normal. So, Woody and Buzz are now on even ground. This is what solves Woody's and Buzz's problems. There's no longer the favored toy in this situation because they don't have one. There's no one to love them. They're trying to find their way back, and through this journey they learn. And then they come to Sid. Not only does it force them to work together, but it shows how grateful Woody should be to even have a good toy owner. Now, Buzz and Woody are a strong duo now that will go down in history. But is that the end? Is this the end of Toy Story? No. There's still more to explore in this world. And here's where I feel Toy Story fails. Now, before I continue, I still think Toy Story 2 is a good film. But there's a problem with it. The message, the story, the meaning. It's not there, and if it is, it's weak and doesn't compare to the other Toy Stories. Toy Story 1, 3, and 4 all use the idea of them being toys so well and create new and interesting situations, but what does Toy Story 2 have? Sure, we see a toy store, which was cool but wasn't executed correctly. It's boring and not alive. Other than that, nothing really expands our knowledge of toys and the mental challenges that go along with being one. Woody debates on going back to Andy's or being in a museum. It isn't that interesting compared to what can be done with toys that we know from 3 and 4. It's weak. There's other problems I can go on into, but we're not here for a review on Toy Story 2. We're here to understand the magic of this franchise, and it's weak in it. The only really reason why it's better than most films is because the characters are still amazing and act correctly in the situation they're in, no matter if it was executed correctly. 9 years later came Toy Story 3, and boy was it worth the wait. With Toy Story 2 missed, Toy Story 3 hit. It explored the life of toys when their owner grows up, which I feel is something that is a big deal in these toys' lives. We also explored the different perspectives in this problem. Lotso doesn't move on and tries to control everyone, as others try to move on and find a new owner. This deepens all of the characters. Then, the daycare. Talk about taking advantage of them being toys. The culture they create there, and then flip it once you realize how Lotso has taken over and created it like a prison. It's a thing of beauty. It feels like it's a living society that's going on there before they arrive. In some instances like this, it feels like it was made for them and almost like they were just waiting for these toys. This feels like there's stories going on and they're not really truly special, although they do probably make the biggest change. All of the new characters are so good because this daycare has the character dynamic that doesn't depend on Andy's toys dynamic. They feel and act like they could live on their own without the crew we know and love. Meaning that there could be an own series of what is going on in the daycare and would still do as great, which made me realize this is the key point. I realized it before, but I didn't realize this is what makes Toy Story so good. The characters. I'd say what makes Toy Story so special is the amount of characters and that they're all good. There could, let's say, Monsters, Inc. Sully and Mike, very, very good characters, but that's only 2. And other Pixar, they do great at characters, but why Toy Story 3 is so special is that they have all the great toys with that dynamic from Toy Story 1 and 2. And then they introduce so much more that work and blend beautifully together and are deep in Toy Story 3. But what about Toy Story 4? Now, Toy Story 4 is very different. And it's different because it directs something very personal and direct to Woody. This is mostly a Woody story. Woody's end. Of course, Woody is with Bonnie, and things are different. It's not going to be like Andy's. He is not the favored toy. In fact, he's barely played with. He's losing Woody. He's no longer a leader. He's falling behind. Now, one thing that is good and bad. Now, we talked about how the characters are so important, and Woody's great in it, everyone's Bo's great in it, all the new characters are amazing, but there's a new dynamic. And the dynamic is very good. But you feel a little guilty. You feel a little hurt, like, what happened to the old toys? Now, the actor of Mr. Potato Head sadly passed away, so he obviously wasn't going to be involved, and he was the main ones. Rex wasn't in it much, and really no one. And only really people from Andy's crew was Buzz and Woody, and they are the main characters, of course, but that's why I say it can't be the best, but it's definitely... They definitely explored something new. And they tampered with what we know. They created a new dynamic that we loved, that we enjoyed. But it left our new crew behind, and I think that's also important to the story. Woody's moving on. Woody doesn't longer fit with these people. And that is why, if you look into it, the characters are the Toy Story. If you guys like this new style of video as much as I did, please let me know in any way you feel is most rewardable for me. You could subscribe, like, comment. I'd love to know, because I've got a lot more to say about animated films, positively or negatively. And I just really wanted to express, I was rewatching all the Toy Stories, and I really realized how Toy Story is truly made up by the characters. And the fact that it has a great plot too just blows it out of the water. So if you guys want me to do this next, I'd love to talk about Finding Nemo, my personal favorite one, and why it is so great. But yeah, thank you guys for watching, and see you guys in the next one.